All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into what is honestly the ultimate collaborative skill for any couple out there, learning to dance together. If you've ever stepped onto a dance floor and then immediately stepped right on your partner's toes, you know that progress isn't just about nailing the footwork. It's actually just as much about managing your expectations and how you communicate. So, we're going to explore the source material's blueprint for mastering the dance floor without stepping on each other's toes, physically or emotionally.
Look, we've all been there, right? Or at least we can vividly picture it. You sign up for a class thinking it's going to be this flawless, super romantic date night. But then the music starts. Your timing feels totally off. Maybe one of you feels left behind, and suddenly a little piece of technique advice lands completely the wrong way. In a split second, what was supposed to be a fun, shared experience turns into major frustration and an argument. But why exactly does this happen so easily? The source material actually hits the nail on the head with this quote. Many couple arguments aren't truly about dancing, they're about vulnerability. Think about it. When you or your partner are struggling with a brand new step, it's so incredibly easy for that struggle to feel like a personal judgment. Have you ever felt that defensive sting? Learning a new skill as an adult is just inherently messy. Acknowledging that right out of the gate really helps stop you from taking those inevitable missteps so personally. So, to get us through this, here is our blueprint for dance floor harmony. Think of it as a practical survival guide. We're going to cover 4 key stages today. First, before the music starts. Second, navigating in-class communication. Third, frictionless at-home practice. And finally, protecting your partnership. Okay, let's dive into this first part. Before the music starts, preparing for the floor. The real preparation happens way before you even step foot inside the studio. It is so much easier to keep the peace when you aren't showing up already running on empty. You've got to establish these emotional buffer rules. Basically, this means making sure your fundamental needs are met first. Drink some water, throw on some comfortable clothes, and actually give yourselves time to warm up. From there, agree on your lesson goals and set up a no-blame pause signal. If either of you hits a wall, you need to agree ahead of time that stepping back for a breather is totally fine, no blame attached. You really want to arrive with a full tank of patience. And here's a super fascinating point about setting realistic lesson goals. A lot of friction just comes down to partners defining success totally differently. So before you walk into class, just take a couple of minutes to talk about your specific goals. Are we focusing on learning the timing today? Maybe just improving our posture? Or are we trying to master one specific sequence? Keeping these goals grounded reduces that intense pressure to perform perfectly, and it makes sure that any feedback you share feels purposeful rather than like an attack. Moving right along to section 2, navigating in-class communication, keeping the peace on the floor. All right, picture this. You're in a crowded studio. The music is blasting, and yeah, emotions can flare up fast. This is where you absolutely have to shift your vocabulary. Look at the stark contrast between a blaming statement like, "you're doing it wrong," versus a teamwork statement like, "we're figuring out the timing." That tiny, subtle shift completely transforms the emotional tone of the room. It takes your mindset from me versus you and flips it to us versus the dance. Now, instructors are there to guide the whole room. But between steps, couples naturally want to chat about what to tweak. If you know that one of you tends to dish out sharp corrections, you should really agree to a strict no critique in the moment rule. When your brain is totally overloaded trying to learn a new step, it simply cannot process an emotional lecture. Instead, lean on simple, neutral phrases. Try saying things like, "count with me," or "show me again," or even, "let's reset that part." Keeping it calm totally lowers the defensiveness. You can save the deep dives for after class. To actually enforce that, the source suggests something I think is just brilliant: a shared reset word. Think of it as a safety valve for your relationship. When you feel the tension spiking, either partner can just call out this reset word. And when they do, you both just stop, drop the frustration, and go right back to the absolute basics: your breathing, your posture, basic timing, before you try the step again. It immediately brings both of you back to a calm, shared foundation. All right, that brings us to section 3, frictionless at-home practice, living room rehearsals. So what happens in the days between lessons? Your living room practice shouldn't feel like a chore that you're dreading. The golden rule here is to keep it structured and brief, 10 to 20 minutes. Literally, that is it. That is almost always enough time for an at-home session. Keeping it surprisingly short like that prevents mental fatigue and stops frustration from boiling over right next to your coffee table. To make sure those 10 to 20 minutes are actually doing something for you, follow these highly actionable rules. First off, practice just one single section at a time, not the entire routine. Second, rotate who leads the cueing so the instructions aren't constantly coming from the exact same person. Third, if a move just completely falls apart, slow down together and rebuild it right from the count. And lastly, and this is huge, always end your sessions on a small win. Doing a piece of the dance perfectly and leaving it at that is a vital psychological anchor. It keeps you both wanting to come back for more.
Which leads us to our final section, Section 4, Protecting Your Partnership, the ultimate goal.
Because at the end of the day, nailing that salsa move is totally secondary to keeping your relationship strong. Please burn this quote into your memory. Poor execution today does not reflect how you feel about each other. It is so vital to separate the dance from the relationship itself. A missed step is literally just a missed step. It's not some grand metaphor for your partnership. Keep reminding yourselves of that. To make sure you leave every single class feeling like a united front, try instituting a quick post-lesson ritual. While you're walking to the car or just heading home, run through these 3 quick steps. First, name one thing you learned. Second, name one thing you're going to try next time. And third, finish up with a supportive close. Give a compliment or just a quick hug. Doing this guarantees that your brain encodes the memory of that class in a positive way. When your dance conversations reliably end with encouragement, the next class is going to feel so much safer. Look, dancing as a couple is an amazing skill-building process that challenges your rhythm, sure, but also your communication. By setting those shared goals, drawing clear feedback boundaries, using calm cues, and structuring your living room practice, you totally remove the triggers that cause those blowups. You are a united team. So as you head out to your next class or push the couch back in your living room, ask yourselves, what will your team's next small win be? Thanks so much for tuning into this explainer, and hey, happy dancing!